I've got 4 more Dr. Wu World's Smallest Style Transformers. Well, third-party Transformers. Though they're actually the same mold, each pair. We basically have Perceptor and Hauler and Magnificus, I think it was, and Grapple. And we're going to go through these guys and see how they are as miniature versions of some of your favorite characters, and some that may not be your favorites, and see if they might fit quite nicely in a little spot in your collection. Be right back. Alright, so I haven't even opened these guys up yet. The boxes are not perfect, but that's actually why I kind of like getting third-party stuff in boxes, because it adds some protection. You know, it's a long way from China to here. I got them, of course, through AliExpress, and I'm pretty sure that these guys are fine. No, I'm kidding. They're totally fine. So there we have a, turn it around, version of Perceptor and Hauler, or Road Hauler, as you might call them nowadays. They, of course, have the little collector cards and instructions, which will be handy. I know that there are some people like, I don't read the instructions. But, you know, I don't want to break my shit. If I'm not reading the instructions, it's usually because I've already transformed the same mold a million times. So, all right, get rid of those boxes. Here we have a black microscope and Grapple. So, Dr. Wu, I love his stuff. The names that they come up with, not always the best. I mean, there's Black Perceptor and Grapple, but they are calling Perceptor here, his name is MICROSCOPE. MICROSCOPE. Really? This guy is called Grapple Hook, and this guy is called Crane Hook. So I guess they use Grapple on the one that's not colored the same way as Grapple. And this guy's called Black Mirror. Isn't that a TV series? I've seen some episodes, pretty cool stuff, but I hope they're not gonna get sued because of Black Mirror. All right, let's take these guys out. They're very nicely packaged. They got plastic, and then there's plastic bags around them. And Perceptor, I'm not gonna call him Microscope. Looks pretty cool. Let me zoom in on him. He is packaged in his robot mode, whereas Hauler, who I thought was gonna be like the same as Inferno, but I'm guessing not, is packaged in his vehicle mode and has this extra hook thing that I imagine you put on the end. It may be in the instructions, but it can be the claw. I use that joke far too much. If they would stop putting claws, then I might stop using that joke. All right, let's see what instructions I grabbed. All right, so what is interesting, these are Crane Hook's instructions, otherwise known as Grapple, but they don't really show in the instructions what to do with the claw. I'm thinking in the vehicle mode, it could go on the end like that. It may also go over one of his fists when he's in robot mode, and then he can really grab somebody. All right, so let's get Crane Hook and Grapple Hook, or Grapple and Hauler, into their robot modes. And then we'll come back to Mr. Microscope. I said I wasn't gonna call him that, and I just called him that. Motherfucker. Okay, so it does not seem like it's a super complex transformation, but what I find interesting is they have the directions in the opposite way, where he's starting in robot mode and going into vehicle mode instead of the way it's packaged. I wonder if the microscope guy is going to be, Perceptor is going to be the other way. So there is Grapple in his robot mode. I've left Hauler in his vehicle mode because I just wanted to do a quick roll test. And since we have the same mold in 2 different forms, you know, let's take a look at what Hauler can do. He can basically extend his crane, and he's got a very mobile hook on the end there. The crane can actually turn, so that's kind of nice. And that's about it. But still, it's a functioning crane, and he rolls. Not the best in the world, but he rolls. Now, robot mode, Grapple here is doing a full Jean-Claude Van Damme, so he can kick forward and back and to the side. Now, he actually has ankle tilts. Wow, for something this small to have ankle tilts, that's pretty impressive. Unfortunately, doesn't twist at the waist. So no twisting at the waist, but you know, he is rather small, so it's got ankle tilts at this size, come on. Arms can go all the way around, can bend at the elbow, and swivel because it's a ball joint. So Trying to not get my fingers in the way. It's hard because these guys are so small. So very posable. Can his head turn? I can push it back. It looks like it has some slight give, so you can turn the face a little bit. Someone with smaller fingers or a pair of tweezers might be able to turn that head. I'm not going to bother because he can't really see once he turns his head too far anyway. So grapple and hauler. And the transformation is very similar to what you do with the G1 actually. But as usual, the transformations by Dr. Wu are clever and things snap nicely into place. These little claw things apparently do not go on the fists. So on the end of the crane it is, which kind of is similar to what the actual full-size ones have. So that's those two. Definitely cool additions to my very small collection. All right, let's get back to Perceptor, aka Microscope, and Magnificus, aka Black Mirror. Obviously, again, repaints of one another. 19 steps to change them into a actual microscope. Let's go through the posability on Perceptor though real quick here. Ankle tilts, amazing. Full Jean-Claude Van Damme, which means he can kick forward, he can kick back, pretty high actually. He can kick to the side. He can calculate the variable conditions in this region of space to locate, never mind. I believe I can. He actually does twist all the way around at the waist, so that's kind of nice. Arms go all the way around. Fists don't twist, sorry guys. You can move his microscope up. His head apparently turns all the way around, so that's a nice thing. It's got the shoulder-mounted microscope. He's got bends in the knees. Ooh, I didn't even check. These guys also have bended knees. Sorry, I don't know where my head is. Maybe Perceptor can help me calculate where it is. So very posable. Both of them have the nice knobs for the microscope on their arms. I'm not going to go through posability on this guy because it's exactly the same. But again, they can both get in some very dynamic poses. They don't have any weapon other than their shoulder cannon slash basically microscope lenses, but I like them. And I could see him running to tell Blaster, who I have a miniature one of Blaster too, in Metroplex that Ultra Magnus sends orders to contact Prime on Moonbase 1. I could see him doing that. Do you think he got through to Prime? I hope so. Otherwise, we're all gonna look like burnt out toaster ovens. All right, so there they are. Let's see if I can give them a spin without them falling over. I tend to doubt it because these guys are precarious. Ooh, maybe. So you can see they got holes in their backs for their heads. And yeah, he was not standing quite as straight. Slacker, Decepticon. But there you have them guys. Let's, in this case, the instructions are in the right direction. And the fact that his head can turn is on purpose. It is serving a purpose for the transformation. Okay, so this is pretty interesting. So this is Perceptor, aka Microscope, as a microscope, but they added an ability to flip these around because the original Perceptor had a third mode. And I think this is supposed to represent that third mode as kind of a tank, because it's hard to see the very small detail, but these are molded tank treads. So you can actually have him as a microscope or his original tank mode, which is kind of neat. I would probably use him more as the microscope because he has never shown that tank mode in the actual show, but I could see Black Mirror doing shit like that. Yeah, it's not a very difficult transformation. What confused me is there were a couple extra steps and that showed making it into the tank mode. And it took me a while to figure that out because it's not very obvious. It has no text. And it shows him as a nice microscope. And then it says, oh, but do this too. It was weird. But as you can imagine, they both have the tank modes. But there they are, 2 microscopes. So there you have it, 4 different Dr. Wu toys. Same mold, but they are very cool. And I like these guys. One day I'll have to like set them up all in a nice diorama. And you could see all these guys in battle poses, fighting Seekers, fighting sound waves. These two could be fighting, could be a lot of fun. So these run about, for each set, about 22 bucks, about $3 ship. About 25, 26 bucks is what's gonna cost you, maybe a little bit more with the tax. And of course, I will put a link in the description so you can check out these guys and maybe add them to your collection. But that is my latest from Dr. Wu. As far as the world's smallest, they don't quite scale with his nice little Triptychons, which are bigger, but not that much bigger. But if you enjoy these, I have a whole bunch more right over here in this video. Could be fun to look at, and I do hope you're having fun watching these videos, as much fun as I have making them. We'll see you next time. As always, have fun and good hunting.